Okay, so it feels like every single company out there is in this massive race, right? They're all trying to build the next big thing in AI. The money's pouring in, the hype is, well, it's everywhere. But if you look past the headlines, there's something else going on. See, it's not just about building the tech, it's about building AI that you and I will actually use, and more importantly, trust. And that really brings us to the big question here. With this, explosion of AI everywhere, what's the difference between a cool tech demo that gets a bunch of clicks online and a product that actually succeeds in the real world? And what we're going to find out is that the answer has way less to do with how complicated the algorithm is and everything to do with understanding the person, the human, who's actually using it. So, to get to the bottom of this, we're going to look at the AI puzzle from three crucial perspectives. We'll start with the builders, the folks actually making this stuff. Then we'll jump over to the users, the people who decide if a product is a hit or a miss. And finally, we'll look at the designers, the ones trying to connect those two worlds. After that, we'll tie it all together. All right, let's dive into our first perspective. Imagine you're a product manager or an engineer. You're in the trenches. For you, building an AI product is a whole different ballgame than traditional software. It comes with this totally unique, kind of tricky set of risks that you've got to deal with, day in and day out. First up, there's the technical feasibility risk. And that's a fancy way of asking, can we even build this thing so it works reliably? And it's not just about writing code. A lot of the time, the biggest headache is the data. Just getting enough good data to train a model that's actually useful, that's a huge, huge challenge. Oh, and these models? They are absolute resource hogs, which means they're expensive to run and can be slow for the user. Okay, next up is a big one, usability risk. Look, if users don't get what an AI is doing, they're not going to trust it. And if they don't trust it, they're just not going to use it. It's really that simple. So being transparent is everything. The product has to be super clear about what the AI is good at, what it's, not so good at, and maybe even give a little peek behind the curtain as to why it's suggesting something. Then you've got value risk. Let's be real. It's super tempting to just slap an AI sticker on a feature for some easy marketing buzz, right? But a product manager's real job is to make sure the AI actually helps. Does it solve a genuine problem for the user? And is it actually better than how they used to do it? If the answer is no, then honestly, it's just a gimmick. And last but not least, there's business continuity risk. This is the stuff you see in the headlines all the time. We're talking about all the legal, ethical, and money problems. Think about things like biased data, copyright fights, the crazy cost of running these models, and of course, the very real possibility that someone could misuse the tech. These are not small problems. They can threaten the whole company if you're not careful. And this quote really gets to the core of why all these risks are so intense. Think about it. A regular calculator is deterministic. You type in 2 plus 2, you get 4, every single time. But generative AI, it's probabilistic. It's making educated guesses. And that's what makes it so powerful, but it's also what makes it so risky. I mean, if your newsfeed suggests a weird article, it's just annoying. But if an AI that's controlling an insulin pump gets it wrong, well, the stakes are literally life and death. That built-in uncertainty completely changes the game for the people building this stuff. Okay, so the builders are facing this mountain of challenges. That's clear. But what about us, the people they're actually building all this for? Let's flip the script and look at things from the user's point of view. What really makes someone say, you know what, I'm going to start using this new AI tool? Well, there was this really fascinating study that gives us a major clue. Researchers looked at business users in Indonesia and tried to figure out what really truly drives people to start using generative AI. They basically tested three big ideas. Was it about how fun it is to use? They called that hedonic motivation. Or was it all about getting better results at work? Performance expectation. Or was it just about how simple it is? Perceived ease of use. And honestly, the results were kind of shocking. The theory that we adopt AI because it's fun? Nope, rejected. What about the idea that we adopt it just because it promises to make us better at our jobs? You'd think that'd be it, right? But surprisingly, also rejected. Only one single factor passed the test. Just one. So get this. The number one reason people started using an AI tool wasn't because it was powerful or new and shiny. It was because it was simple. Perceived ease of use. After all that hype about boosting productivity and all these mind-blowing features, what it really boiled down to was one simple question. How easy is this thing to use? Is it intuitive? Do I get it? That's what mattered most. And that brings us perfectly to our third and final perspective, the designer's view. Okay, so if users need a tool to be easy and understandable, how on earth do you design that for something as ridiculously complex as AI? Well, the answer is this whole field called explainable AI, or XAI for short. So, at the heart of designing AI, there is this constant push and pull. On one side, you have what are called black box models. Think of these super complex deep learning networks. They can be amazingly accurate, but how they work on the inside is a total mystery. On the other side, you've got white box models, like a simple decision tree. They're way easier to understand, but they're often not as powerful. So designers are always stuck in the middle, trying to balance pure power versus something a human can actually understand. And here's the thing. Explainability isn't some one-size-fits-all deal. Different people need different kinds of explanations. Researchers have broken it down into three main groups. You've got your AI experts, the people who actually build this stuff. Then you have data experts, who are pros at looking at the results. And then you have the biggest group by a long shot, AI novices. And yeah, that's basically most of us. What we need to understand a system is totally different from what an expert needs. So for us novices, the goal of an explanation isn't to, debug the code. It's about building a relationship with the tool. We need to see what it's doing so we can understand it. We need to build up trust so we know when to take its advice. And we definitely need to know about potential problems, like bias in the data or what's happening with our privacy. These are all about the human side of things. All right, so we've looked at this from the builder's angle, the user's angle, and the designer's angle. Now it's time to connect the dots. Let's pull it all together and see what the full picture of a successful AI product actually looks like. It really breaks down like this. Step 1. The builder has a big problem, that usability risk. They're worried that nobody is going to trust this complex, kind of unpredictable thing they've built. Step 2. The user comes along and basically hands them the answer, saying, hey, I'll use it if I can understand it. And that leads to step 3. The designer bridges that gap. They create that ease of use the user's asking for by focusing on human-centered design and making things explainable. So you see, the designer's solution directly solves the builder's biggest problem by giving the user exactly what they need. And that, right there, is the whole point. A successful AI product isn't just about who has the most powerful algorithm or the biggest pile of data. It's not a tech competition. It's a human challenge. The winners are going to be the ones who figure out how to make all this incredibly complex technology feel simple, feel trustworthy, and just be genuinely easy to use. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. As these AI systems get woven deeper and deeper into our everyday lives, maybe the most important thing about them isn't what they know, but how well they can explain themselves to us, the people they're supposed to be helping.